Hey friends, welcome to the Angie Ambrosetti Show. Let her out to play. I'm Angie, your host, a teenage mom turned multi-six-figure earner, married to the same man for nearly 40 years. I'm a homeschooling mom of 7 and totally unqualified, at least on paper, but wildly called by God. Remember, He doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. Here, we are going to talk about it all. Healing from the hard stuff, building a business with heart, raising a big family, walking in faith, and finally breaking free from the lies that said we weren't enough. So if you're ready to stop playing small, shake off the doubt and the shame, and step fully into who you were created to be, girl, you are in the right place. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Angie Ambrosetti Show. Guys, today I have a very special guest. And like I always say, all of my guests are very special. And this young man is near and dear to my heart. So, as you know, we are right in the middle of, or kind of getting started. This will be our third episode on the adoption series because November is National Adoption Month. And I'm so pumped to be able to bring to you another one of my sons who falls into that category. He is our second adopted blessing that the Lord brought to us. And so today I would love to introduce you guys to my son, Elijah Ambrosetti. Welcome to the show today, Elijah.
Thank you. Hey guys.
So, Elijah and I've been having some really great conversations lately because I've been talking to the boys about this series that we're doing with adoption and just kind of going back, thinking about the time before they were adopted and when they found out they were adopted. And so this morning, Elijah and I were having another conversation, and he actually told me a couple of things that I didn't know. So I'm just going to go through Elijah and I'm just going to ask some questions, and we're just going to give our audience a little feedback about how it has been for you finding out you're adopted, being in a big family. Elijah even had an experience with playing sports at a local public school. He didn't attend there, but he did go to school there. I mean, he did play football there, and kind of talk about that experience, what it's like to have been homeschooled and all the things. So, Elijah, I would love, and our audience would love to hear from you about what it was like the day that you found out that you actually were adopted into our family.
Well, I mean, it didn't like really change anything. I remember you guys telling Brayden first, and then I like kind of picked up on it after that. But yeah, I don't think it like changed anything. I still think the same of you. Like no matter what, like you're still like my mom and dad. So
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing, right?
yeah,
And
but
so let's go back. Let's take our audience back to that day. Can you fill us in a little bit about what was around the experience of finding out that you were adopted? What did we do? Where did we go? What were you thinking?
we went out on the boat, and then I remember we thought that we were getting a puppy, and
Yes,
you know,
boat.
you
A
guys
couple of
said
you did.
you guys said that we were gonna go on the boat and you're gonna tell us something, and so we I thought we were gonna go like tube and stuff and like have fun and jump off cliffs, and then mom and dad were
He's
gonna
the
tell us
adventurous one.
we we were gonna have a puppy, but that didn't happen. So I mean, we got a puppy, but it was a couple years after that.
Yeah, yeah. And so do you remember, like, what was going through your mind as I had been praying, and I just didn't know exactly how we were going to tell you guys, but we knew the time had come because I think Ian was 12 and you were 15, and I believe Braden would have been about 18 years old. And so we were just praying about how we were going to tell you. And I remember that day dad looked at me and I looked at him, and I just started talking. I started telling a story about our life together and how I got pregnant as a teenager, and we kind of went into the story of having the other four children, and then we began telling the story about how we got the call for Braden, and then how we got the call to adopt you as well. And so, do you remember anything like what maybe was going through your mind, or even when you heard us say that you actually were not our children biologically, but that we had adopted you? Do you remember any thoughts or feelings that you were having?
Not really. I mean, I was thankful for sure because, like we weren't living with our biological parents, so and they were both drug addicts. So it was kind of like it was awesome how like God worked in that way to like put us in a family where like they can support us and then we can grow up to be good men, good young
Yeah.
men. So, um I mean,
Well,
not really like I don't really have like other than that, I don't really have like many feelings. Like I wasn't really like sad or anything that we didn't get to meet our biological parents. Um,
mhm. Well, one
if anything,
thing
I
that
was happy.
I'm sorry, what?
I said, if anything, I was happy.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to take away from the fact that your biological parents, whereas they did have addiction issues,
They
um,
still loved us. I mean, I
yes,
know that.
yes, and your birth mom had the right mind, the wherewithal to know that the best thing for you was to place you into a home where, there was a solid family, there was a solid foundation, and
Yeah.
financially we were in a good place. And so, like, I don't want to take that away from her because that is a beautiful picture of love.
Hmm.
That is very, knowing of her to have that thinking that I want these boys to be taken care of, and so
Yeah.
for that, you definitely have to give her the accolades that she loved you enough to place you in a home where she felt like you would, completely be taken care of in all the areas of life. So, one of the things that Elijah told me this morning, guys, Elijah is 20 years old. I've never heard this before, but we were having a conversation and he told me something that I never knew before. So, Elijah, would you tell our listeners the story that you told me this morning prior that what happened prior to us telling you that you were adopted?
I remember like having a dream. I don't know if it was a few months or a few weeks. I know it was before like they told us. I remember having a dream that we went out on the boat and then mom and dad told us that we were adopted. And I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was like I was like, "Oh yeah, that's not real." So I didn't like tell anybody. So, but it ended up happening, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah. So, one of the things about Elijah that we've known for a long time is that he has the gift of discernment. And many times over the years, Elijah has come to his dad, mainly to his dad, and said, I don't have a good feeling about this, or I had a dream about this, something that hadn't even happened yet. And then it actually came into fruition. And there's been several people who have come into our lives or that Elijah has had encounters with that he didn't have a good feeling about. And as time went on, those feelings turned out to be actually the case. And so we believe that the Lord has gifted him with the ability to discern so many good things. And it actually brought me a little teary eyed this morning as he and I were sitting in my bedroom having a conversation about we were just talking through, some of the questions or some of the thoughts that we might talk about on this podcast this morning. And I have to say, when he told me that he had had that dream prior to our unveiling to him that he had been adopted, it got me teary eyed. And it was just another piece of confirmation that the Lord is with Elijah and is giving him wherewithal to have good discernment. And I don't know, like you've had other dreams in the past, Elijah, where you've dreamed about things and then they come to pass. Do you have any thoughts around that? Like how does that make you feel? Or even, I know you and dad have had a lot of conversations about people that have come into your path or to our family's life. And you haven't, like, we're not going to name anything like that, but
Yeah, yeah.
well, like how has that made you feel?
Um, I mean, I don't really all I know is that, like, when I get around someone that I don't it just doesn't feel like right. Like I have the hair on the back of my neck stands up, and I I definitely think it's like God telling me, you know, this person probably shouldn't be around you or
Mhm.
life. Um, I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of weird,
Yeah.
but I definitely can like pick up on it. It's happened a few times in the past, so.
Mhm. And do you ever feel like you just, whenever that happens, like, does it give you a sense of, hey, I really want to pray through this, or I want to ask the Lord what He's trying to show me through this opportunity, or this knowing, I guess you should call it?
Yeah, and I try to pray as much as I can, so, um, but I don't really know. It's just I do pray about it, and then sometimes, we figure out that the person that we thought was like, good and stuff is like not a great person. So
Yeah, you never can tell. So
yeah.
tell us a little bit, what has it been like to be in a large family? Like, there's a lot of you kids, there's 7 of you, and what has that been like to be in a big family? And also, tell us about your relationship with your other siblings.
I my relationship is great. With my two younger siblings, and then also my like biological brother. And I mean, Coco still lives at home, so I spend a lot of time with him. And yeah, I'm at Aaron's almost every other night. So like spend time with the kids and with him and Madison. And
Yeah.
I'm really close. I'm close with Allie too.
Yeah, tell us about what that was like, only having one sister, and you were kinda like her life-size baby doll. I think she was, 10, 12, maybe when you came into the family. So what was your relationship like with her?
Yeah, she definitely raised me for sure. I mean, you raised me too, and so did Dad. But she was kind of like, if I got in trouble, she'd bail me out. So
Yeah, yeah.
and
She was always there to bail you out and,
whenever I got scared,
protect you.
I remember like going and sleeping in her bed. So
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, she was definitely played the second mommy role in your life, and I know that you're still very close with her as well.
yeah.
What about your relationship with Ian? Because for those listening, you might not know this, but of the 3 younger boys that we did adopt, Elijah and Ian, who is our youngest, they actually are biological brothers. And so, Elijah, tell us what's been your relationship like with Ian, and how do you feel like there's a different bond there? Because unknowingly, when you guys were little, you always, like, stuck up for each other. You were always, like, intertwined, so to speak.
Well, I think it helped that we were always like together. We never were like apart from each other when we were little. So I feel like it just got stronger and stronger like the more life went on. And yeah, we probably spend the most time together out of like all of my siblings.
Mhm.
And we can kind of like talk to each other without having to talk to each other. Like we can just look at each other and like it's kind of weird how that works, but
Yeah. Well, I remember when you guys were younger and you didn't know you were adopted, but of course we all did. And so I remember we would always say, they have this bond that we could see. And I always felt like it was because biologically you were bonded together, even though you didn't know it. Like we
Mhm.
could see similarities in the way that you responded, in the way you responded to one another, in the way you responded to other people. And it was just always a really beautiful thing to watch, even though I know you were close with Braden and the older kids. And I never felt like it was just because you were the 2 youngest. I always could see it as the fact that you were connected biologically, and you guys didn't even know that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because we're so opposite, but we we're definitely really close, and we don't fight. We never fight or anything. I don't think we've ever really gotten to a like fight.
Yeah. Well, let's hope
So
not, right?
yeah. But Yeah, he's something else, but he's a great brother.
Yeah. And I remember watching you guys always protect one another because actually Ian was very small for a long time. And
Yeah,
now he actually has surpassed you in height.
yeah, he's like an inch or two taller than me now. So
Mhm. But he had such a small stature, he was always very tiny and thin, and, but he grew into his body, right? And now
yeah,
he's taller, but I remember you always being the protector of him, and I just always felt like that had something to do with this biological bond that you had, and you didn't even realize it.
yeah, I think so
Mhm.
too.
Mhm. And so could you tell us like a little bit about being the big brother? Like tell us your proud moments that you feel like that you're seeing in Ian because when we were in New York this past year, I remember being so emotional because you just were beaming with pride for your brother.
Yeah, I was very happy for him, and he works hard, so like you can definitely see um like him like reaping the benefits, I guess.
Mhm.
But yeah, I love him, and I'm gonna just continue sticking up for him because he's he's my little baby brother. So
Yeah. He's the baby of the bunch, right?
yeah,
What's it been like to be in a big family?
I think it's awesome. I love having big like Thanksgiving is kind of crazy, but
Yeah.
it's fun. We have fun. I love big families.
Mhm.
I can imagine living in a small family.
Yeah. And I guess, sometimes when people are the only child or there's just a couple siblings and that's what they get accustomed to, right? And then, when you're in a big family, I guess that's what you get accustomed to. And so I'm just so happy that you guys have enjoyed being in such a big family. And what about homeschooling? Can you talk to us a little bit about what has been your experience? What have you loved? Is there anything that you didn't love about being homeschooled? What would you tell our audience about that experience?
Um, I don't think I really like doing the school, but uh, I like being able to go on trips whenever kids were in school. I thought that was good because we could, go to Disney or whatever or Universal, and there would be like, there'd be less people there than there would be if school was out. So, I thought that was always fun taking those trips and stuff, and then I think it like frees up. We'd probably work, 4 or 5 hours, and then we'd have the rest of the day to go
Mhm.
outside when we were little and play and, run around and do what kids do. So,
Yeah. So all the fun things. Most kids don't like doing the schoolwork, so you check the box there. You love taking the trips, check the box there, and doing as little school as possible. So, Elijah, you've been graduated now a year, and tell us what you're doing a little bit with your work experience.
now I'm doing like automotive detailing, and then I'm doing like ceramic coat and like car wraps, and I love it. It's so much fun.
That's
When
awesome.
I'm not doing that, I'm working with dad, so that makes it even better that I get to spend some time with him
Yeah.
because I don't know how much longer he's going to be out working. I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to do that. So,
Yeah. Well, your dad, he's always doing something, right?
yeah, yeah.
So tell us a little bit, another question or two, about your relationship with your dad, because you have always been very, very close with your dad. And so I would love to just hear a few words that you would have to say about your dad and how much you love him and your relationship with him.
I love my dad. My dad he's taught me so many things that, you know, you can't learn from, you know, a lot of people. So, and a lot of it was insightful. So I kind of, you know, ask him whenever I need something or whenever I need help or whatever. Always talk to him, and he always has an answer for me. Um, and Aaron's a lot like dad too. So Aaron, I know I can ask Aaron if I have a problem too, and Aaron can give me an answer. Um, So I love my dad.
I know one of the things that I have loved about dad and how he seems to speak so much in parables. He's
Mhm.
always telling a story. And so I know some of the conversations that he and I have had about his conversations with you or with the other boys is that when you guys take trips or when you're driving to and from the office to work or wherever it is you're going, is that dad always has some really good biblical insight and he likes to talk in story form. Do you find that to be the case?
I think so too. Dad knows a lot about the Bible, and I don't know, he's just very wise in what he says. Like he's very he doesn't even try really, which is the cool thing. Like he doesn't try to sound wise or anything. He just naturally, you know, he's just naturally a good dad. Um,
Gives you good words of
he knows what
wisdom.
to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What's one of your favorite quotes or your favorite things that your dad has said to you that's really stuck that you feel like you can take into your continued into your adult life and as someday become a husband and a father, what is something that you've heard your dad say over and over again and you feel like, wow, this is such great words of wisdom. I'm going to carry that on into my adulthood and share that with my children someday.
I think one of the biggest things for me was when he told me, he said, never tell, never tell a girl you love her until you know she's like the one. And, I've continued to do that. I love my girlfriend, and, she said it first to me. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
So this is so funny to our audience. I'm going to tell you because I don't know if you've listened to my earlier episodes, but my husband, his father, actually told me that he loved me the very first day he met me. So it's so hilarious that that's the thing that you're clinging to. And yet that's what he said to me the very first night we had our blind date. But, when I tease him about that now, he says, "It's true though. I knew it way back December 28th, 1985." So this year we will celebrate 40 years since that very first blind date. And Elijah, I love that that is the thing that you have clung to that your dad has said, just always thinking about the words of wisdom, the biblical advice that he gives you, the encouragement, the uplifting that he gives you. And, you cling to those things that you hear over and over again. And I appreciate that. I know your dad will appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to encourage our listeners today with?
I would just encourage people to like stay strong in their faith. I know like the world right now is like kind of crazy, but um, I just encourage people to pray more and go to church and read their Bibles.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that, honey. So, guys, this is raw, real, unedited, just like throwing my kids in front of a screen saying, "Hey, let's talk about this." I mean, Elijah and I did talk about it a little bit this morning, but nothing was really rehearsed or scripted. I was just asking him some different questions. And then, really, today, during this interview, the questions weren't exactly what I even had said this morning. I just wanted us to have a good conversation. And I wanted our audience, other listeners, to feel encouraged, feel empowered, feel lifted up, and know that whether you come from a big family or a small family, or you have a passion for adoption or fostering or whatever it is, it's all good. It's all okay. And if that hasn't crossed your path in your journey at this point, or maybe it never will, but you can definitely be praying for those that it has. So, Elijah, thank you so much for being willing. I don't know, I twisted his arm just a little bit, for being willing to pop on today and just share a little bit of your story. I love you. I'm so proud of you. And dad and I are so blessed that the Lord gave you to us as well.
Love you, Mom. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Love you too, buddy. Okay, guys, if this podcast encouraged you today, or you're thinking, hey, I know my friend XYZ, whomever that might be, like they would feel so encouraged by listening to this young man's story or any of the podcasts that we have recorded thus far or the ones that are going to be recorded in the future. Please share this podcast with them. And as always, please give me a 5-star rating, write or leave a written review and share this with that friend who really needs to hear it. Until next time on the Angie Ambrosetti Show, keep letting her out to play and have a great day, my friends.
That's it for today, friends. Thanks for tuning in with me today. I hope today's episode stirred your soul, sparked your faith, and reminded you that your story is far from over. Keep walking in freedom, keep showing up bold, and never forget, God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. Be sure to leave a review, subscribe, or share this podcast with a friend who needs to hear it as well. Until next time, keep letting her out to play because the world needs your fire.